Hey, how's it going? Today is 4th of January, it's Thursday, and we're taking a look at what kind of opportunities are available within the market. I'm going to be taking a look at potentially solving very massive problem that has impact, if anything. Statistically speaking, it costs a lot. This problem costs so much, and that would be how we can potentially tackle obesity, and which would potentially lead into other diseases, some of those being heart diseases, and that would be one of the major factors why so many male men would potentially would suffer from so from these diseases. I guess that's another definition. How to solve it? I can solve it in 4 sentences. That's the reason I have shared that within my book, How to Solve This Problem. So, but let's delve a little bit deeper and trying to understand what's important and how potentially other people can engage with this organization. Tackling obesity, applying for funding to develop effective strategies to tackle overweight and obesity. Tackling obesity is open to applications submitted in a broad population and systems medicine board. Okay, okay, it might be more serious person, right? I guess the now I don't know with the funding available how much funding was allocated to this organization, and if they have a board, right? Let's take a look. Let's take a look because that, again we're talking about my and other taxpayers' money. How much was allocated? A lot. I can touch on that in just a second. You should apply throughout existing funding opportunities most relevant to your science areas of career stage, right? So I don't know what kind of hoops now people gonna need to jump into this, following this competition, right? I'm gonna touch on that just in a second. But first, before we do anything, how much of my and other taxpayers' money was allocated in the setting of these boards? I'm just hoping that there's professional people there. There was an article, right, published. Let's touch on this article. How is NHS funded? The vast majority of public NHS funding comes from general taxation and national insurance contributions. A small proportion of funding, 1% of the total Department of Health and Social Care budget is 2021 to 2022, comes from patient charges from services such as prescriptions and dental treatments. So I have never used any of the NHS services, by the way, that I know of. Perhaps for fun, I might have asked some of the ladies for multivitamins for fun. It's only NHS that they use perhaps on a night out. But that's about it. There's no point. I use any other NHS services myself, but I might most likely I have paid a lot. That's what I'm saying, right? From there, let's progress into what is NHS budget. Public funding for health services in England comes from Department of Health and Social Care budget. The department spending in 2022-23 was 181.7 billion. Okay, perhaps it's very important. I don't know. They're building hospitals. I don't know. They're doing something with their capital. Perhaps the vast majority is spending, and 94.6% of 171 billion was on day-to-day items such as staff salaries and medicine. Okay, okay. Perhaps it's very important. I don't know. I don't know. Overall health should be very important, right? The remainder was large capital expenditure on long-term fixed assets such as new buildings and equipment. When we're talking about buildings, right? So the 10 billion they're spending on buildings. Okay, okay, and building new hospitals and everything. 10 billion. That's reasonable amount, but the rest of it, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't know. Of the day-to-day spending, most 155 billion in 2022-23 was allocated to NHS England for spending on health services. The remainder was allocated to the central budget of the Department of Health and Social Care and its other arm's length bodies such as UK's Health Security Agency and Office for Health Improvement and Disparities. Okay, okay. I don't know all the details. I don't know if I'm shedding a great light on all the services, but I think they're doing great work. By the way, myself, I'm feeling good. I never had a chance of taking part in an old the opera house and just having a little fun with people there. I think they're doing great work, by the way. Okay, let's touch on this important, and perhaps there is a board there who is looking to solve problems before those problems even would occur in the first place. That would be great. Preventative measures before even having to solve the existing problem, even better. So that would be just an example, right? So, but that would be perhaps how I would like to put the project together. It's not necessarily limited to that. So instead, I'll perhaps take a look at this project, and any people who are interested, they can touch on everything what is outlined within this grant proposition, right? That would be summary: apply for funding, develop effective strategies to tackle overweight and obesity. Tackling obesity is open to applications submitted to Population and Systems Medicine Board. So there's a board there, and let's touch on funding. There is no limit to the funding you can apply for, but it should be appropriate in respect to the project. We will usually fund off 80% of the project's full economic costs. So the 80%, right? So 20, most likely you would need to source from other places, either, or perhaps submit for 100. It's if depending what kind of problem what you like to solve, and if anything, perhaps offer a lot of value, right, for tax money that you're most likely gonna be applying for and solving your problems, right? Eligibility: before applying, you might consider checking eligibility criteria, and or depending on what kind of work and thing you might be interested in submitting, right? That would be perhaps for organizations, or if that would be organization structure, organization. If that would be for individuals, perhaps structure for that. And if individual, they might request for perhaps different information. For organization might request a completely different, right? Research projects, programs, partnerships, investigator research grants. So there might be the even way how they would structure a project, right? So they might be available for different structures. That perhaps would be a partnership. Something they have launched previously a lot of projects, but those most likely not be counted as this project. That might be a completely different project. Yeah. But either way, so you can only see what I can see, right? Let's touch on objectives. Before applying for funding, there's the information there. I think it's very similar to your eligibility criteria. That might be just follow up to that. What this competition is looking for: the challenge. Both development and emerging economies are facing rising levels of obesity. Obesity can contribute to mental health problems and also lead to reduced life expectancy. It is a risk factor for a range of chronic diseases, including cardiovascular diseases or type 2 diabetes, some of the cancers. And I don't know. I can't. I can tell you right now. I cannot pronounce some of those names. If I will, this video is going to be highlighted, and I'm not a professional giving advice on those particular diseases, in particular, not knowing personal circumstances, right? So I need to do that for all technology gods out there, right? Disclaimer. The complex interaction of social, environmental, and behavior and biological factors has made us vulnerable to weight gain. There is more to it for weight gain. There is more to it. For someone who studies this field very well and understands very well, there's more to it. But perhaps they're coming into this from more of the science, I guess, or perhaps biological background, right? Obesity and related conditions cost for NHS in the range of 6 billion. Here we go. If it's not more, I think it's way more. I think it's some. Year on year, I think it's way more, and that's without including a significant cost of the social care. I think it's if you would ask me, so potentially your project can reduce the cost for all the taxpayers if you can do it. If you can pull out, I guess, this project. But depending on what you might be interested in doing, right? So the opportunities out there. I don't want to go too much into detail because every time that I would pronounce or say some of those diseases my video and all the content would be highlighted, so I would need to skip that. So there might be more information there for people who are interested. If anything, I'd like to bring more attention to that there is opportunities out there for professionals to engage with some of those governments institutions in order to help large groups of populations. So that would be a good way of supporting people, right? How to apply UK Research Innovative UKRI funding services. We are running MRC funding opportunities for the new UKRI funding services. You cannot apply using joint electronic system. Okay, okay. So usually that system is used for researchers only. You need to register. They would give you a number. A white coat and glasses, right? They would give you all that good stuff. But it seems like in this particular case, they're not using that system. Tackling obesity is open for a project program, partnership, and any investigator research grant application submitted to Population and Systems Medicine Board. So this board might be very active, in particular when it comes to solving these problems. If some of that tax money was allocated to solving those problems and setting up a new board, perhaps. I have my doubts, but perhaps it might be a good investment, I guess. Yourself, if you're interested in learning more, I have published a course. Within this course, I'm taking a look and looking to share as much information as I can when it comes to very fundamental areas where many people would begin. Most of those things haven't been taught in school, so I thought it would be worth taking a look and or sharing that information with others where to begin and how to start when it comes to this course. I have taken a look at 12 different areas. Just name a few. That would be how to set targets, how to approach goals, and how to have a budget. If it, in particular, if it's not perhaps something that you have done in the past, that would be another way how to do it. Within this course, I'm looking to share that with as many people as I can, as well as if you perhaps have any questions, so feel free to reach out to me with your questions. And there's going to be a QR code in the corner, company's website below, if you don't need myself to answer any of your questions there. Yourself, if you're interested in taking part in this or similar competitions, I would highly recommend first reaching out to the team and try to understand what kind of problems they're looking to solve, since that would be the most optimal way of using our time. That they won't respond to you for weeks, if not months, that's a different issue. Or people might not be held accountable, that's a different issue, right? But perhaps reaching out and trying to understand what they're looking to achieve with some of those funding allocation and how you can help this team in solving the problem. Perhaps that would be a kind of different thing, right? But either way, so the process is that people who are interested, I have covered that in a couple of times to see the list already, but that would be just some of the bullet points covering finances and or potential way how to reach out to some of those teams and take part in perhaps offering a lot of value to many people, in particular suffering from different diseases, right? Health should be very important for many people. Thanks for watching. See you next one.